Oh, hello, YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, I am continuing my shelf clean out journey. I have a lot of bookshelves. However, they are a mess. I think mess is the nice way of putting it. Fucking mess is probably closer to the truth. I've kind of missed going one shelf at a time, so I'm not overwhelmed by it. And I started a new shelf today. I pulled out a bunch of stuff on this shelf that I haven't already read. Gonna do the try a chapter challenge. If I'm not hooked by the first chapter, it's leaving. I gotta be cutthroat about this because I'm too nice and I keep books too long when I know I'm just not gonna read them. And that's all there is to it. So anyway, I am gonna go read a whole ass ton of chapters and come back and tell you what's staying and what is leaving.
One eternity later.
All right, I'm back. I should do fewer books at a time, but that's just not my modus operandi anymore. However, I did fewer books than my romance shelf, so progress here. I've only spent 3 hours reading instead of 4. But anyway, now that I'm done with the reading, I focused mainly kind of on like fantasy type books this time, so I feel good about it. I'm getting rid of more books than I am keeping. Fingers crossed this will continue across more shelves, but for right now, this is what's staying and going. I'm gonna get rid of Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. I know this is a classic and a lot of people very much love this book. I fully understand that. However, it is like 900 pages. Yeah, it's 912 pages. Absolutely not. I don't do that anymore. I don't read these long, epic fucking books unless it's a book I am really, really, really interested in. And frankly, Kushiel's Dart is not something I am super interested in. Kushiel's Dart is about this woman, her name's Phaedra, and she is just like stunningly beautiful, like everybody in the society, except she has one flaw, which she has like a little red fleck in one of her irises. That's it. And apparently she's a fucking monster. Like everyone's like, ew, you have a flaw. And it's the tiniest fucking flaw. It's not like she has a scar or like something big different. It's just one fleck of red, which is ridiculous. But anyway, apparently that fleck of red means she likes pain. Like pain and pleasure are the same for her. So like already we're getting into like sexy ideas here. I don't know. I haven't read enough about it, but like it's just so intense. Like this society, the world building here is really stacked layer upon layer. And I don't have the effort or willpower or desire to like put into trying to figure out this world. Besides the fact it is 912 pages, besides the fact that I don't like the writing style, I don't really like the plot. So for me, it's not gonna happen. However, if you like George R.R. Martin or you like romantasy and you want to read kind of a classic of the genre, this might be for you. For me, it's a no-go. Another one leaving my shelf is The Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. And I had every intention of reading this. I actually got a bound manuscript. Like this is even more of an arc than usual because it's not even like prepared. It's like literally just white paper. They like printed it special. And I did want to keep it a little bit because it was like signed, but like I like other stuff by Aiden Thomas. Like he wrote, what is it called? I think it's called Cemetery Boys. And this other one that's like a kind of a dark Peter Pan retelling. And I really, really liked those books. So when this one came out, I was like, all right, let's see how this one goes. Because it's a real different vibe. This is like straight fantasy. Where the other two books had to happen in reality, but had like fantasy elements in it. This one in particular, I was not vibing with, and it's been on my shelf for several years at this point. It's time for it to go. And I don't really know much about the plot on this one because there's no blurb anywhere, but I know it's fantasy world. It's kind of Latinx mythology based. And there's these characters and they have to like do a battle, and then like someone is the sun bearer and they help the sun keep going. That might be wrong, but that's what I have gathered of my slight reading of this. However, the problem I had is that they're using a lot of modern day slang vernacular like we use in our society that exists right now, and this is a fantasy world, but they're using the same slang. It just didn't fit. It was really discordant because I don't think this happens in the real world at all. It happens in a fantasy land, and they're using modern slang, and I just wasn't vibing with it. And again, I have to be cutthroat, so it is going. Bye-bye. Staying on my shelf is When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. And first of all, cover. Gorgeous. I love this cover. However, I was nervous about it, even though it's a novella and it's like low commitment here. I haven't liked previous things by Veronica Roth. Like, I tried reading Divergent, and oh man, did I hate it. I just hated it to pieces. So I was nervous, but this is a very, very different world. This is adult fantasy, not dystopian YA when that was the craze. So it's a different genre, and I do enjoy it so far. I've only read one chapter, but vibes, I was loving it. It's very atmospheric, I will say, but it's also kind of like there's these hunters and fighters and stuff, and they kill monsters, and then they have to go after Baba Yaga. And I was like, yes, basically anything Baba Yaga related, I'm like into. I love Baba Yaga mythology, so this one already I'm intrigued. I really like the writing style, surprisingly. And just to top it off, it's like, it's under 200 pages. It is 166 pages. It is very short. So low commitment, high reward. I think I'm definitely going to keep this one. I'm finally ready to cut ties with The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tolchi. I love the cover of this. This is gorgeous. Am I right? Gorgeous cover. And like the name Boneless Mercies, like I love it stylistically. And also, is it supposed to be like a gender bent Beowulf? Oh my gosh, you're like giving me catnip right now. However, whilst reading this book, I realized I tried a chapter before and I still never read it again. And frankly, when I went in and read chapter 1 of this time, I'm like, this is boring. Like, I think it's basically in this world, like there's this group of girls in this pack called the Mercies, and essentially they just like kill off the sick and the old. They provide them the mercy of a quick death. And I mean, that sounds pretty metal. I'm into that. But like the writing style itself, the pace of things, it just seems very slow. I didn't really get a good sense of any of the characters. Even our main character who's like narrating, she's a blank piece of paper to me. Like, I don't understand her personality. Mind you, it's only been one chapter, but usually you get a good sense of these things in chapter 1 on a really good book. And this one, I'm just like, these are all carbon copies of each other in this Mercy gang. So yeah, it wasn't doing it for me, but like, cover, title, premise, super good. So if that seems cool to you, I recommend it. But for me, I'm like, I feel like this is just gonna be a dredge to get through. I'm gonna have to just really push myself to read it, and I'm just not doing that anymore. I am getting rid of All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. This was an easy one for me. I didn't even really try to read it. I just know Christine Lynn Herman. There was a whole controversy that went down a couple years ago, and she was a big part of it, and I was like, I don't need to like read her writing. I'm good. I did try to read something else from her in the past. I think she wrote The Devouring Gray, which I also DNF'd, so I was like, I'm good. And also, I wasn't super into like the premise here. Basically, all these families, they put forth like a champion, and they all fight it out, and then the winner gets like this magical prize. I don't know. It's very kind of basic. We've seen this premise over and over again. So I'm just not vibing with it. And also, like, I don't need to give my time and effort and resources to an author that I'm not on the same level with emotionally. So yeah, I'm gonna set this one free. Not for me. You know what? Speaking of which, I'm gonna get rid of Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, because it's kind of the same idea as the last book. There's a bunch of champions and they all have to fight to the death or whatever for a magical prize. It's the same thing. Like I was saying, there's so many books of the same exact premise out there. First of all, cover, gorgeous. I love the premise here too. So style, premise, cover, great. Like this is supposed to be a retelling of Antony and Cleopatra by William Shakespeare. Love that. However, I was reading chapter 1 and I was bored to tears. Maybe maybe not to tears. I feel like that's a bit extreme, but like I didn't really care about the world building. I did like the setting of it because it is based on a real city in the world that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, this is also a fantasy version of it, but I do like the culture that was being established in this book. I thought that was really interesting. I like that. I just didn't like anything else about it. I'm so over these magical competitions. Like, is it just me? Because there's so many of those books and they're all the same exact book over and over again. Let me know in the comments down below. Am I right? Are there so many books that are like a bunch of people need to compete for a magical prize and then like things happen? But anyway, style, premise, culture building, I thought were good. However, writing style and the characters, I was very bored with, even though I love Antony and Cleopatra as a play. For this one, I was like, I don't have it in me. I just don't want to see another magical competition. I don't even know why I thought I would get rid of this book, but I'm definitely keeping A Long Stretch of Bad Days by Mindy McGinnis. I've read several things by Mindy McGinnis, and I have loved all of them. I think she might be a bit of an acquired taste author, though, so try something out and see if you like it. But she writes these deliciously dark, borderline, like, you know, unlikable female heroines that are just so complex and interesting, and I really, really like them. Like one of her former heroines was literally a serial killer. So if you want to talk about unlikable characters that you actually really root for and like a lot and you're interested in, this is the author for you. And this one in particular, I mean, it's YA, and I've only read chapter 1, and we've only been introduced to one of the main characters in this. And at first, I was a little about it. I was like, I don't know. And then by the end of the chapter, I'm like, ooh, she is smart and conniving, and she is dangerous. Like, if this was the real world, I would be scared of this teenage girl. So already, I'm in. I love the author. I love the main character from chapter 1. She is so deliciously good. I love her. And then this one is also a big murder mystery. So yes, totally staying. I just want to test it out. I'm also going to keep Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Torzes. And this one in particular, I am intrigued by. I don't know, it's giving me kind of acquired taste author as well, but like the taste I have. So I have acquired this taste. I would say if you like Jenna Rose Nethercott and like Melissa Albert, authors like that and that storytelling perspective, I think you would get really into this. I don't know much about it because I've only read chapter 1, but essentially there's this family and they have this responsibility to keep these magical books safe and out of the hands of people who use them for evil. It has been going on for generations. And there's these two sisters, they're estranged, but like after their parents are dead, they have to like come back together, and also perhaps evil forces are against them. It's very mysterious. I like that these characters are a little dark. They're a little misanthropic. So I don't know. I like them. They're kind of prickly in a good way. They're like they're interesting. I like these characters so far. I think this is going to be really cool. And also magic. So surprisingly, into this book. I thought this one was gonna leave for sure, and like I'm intrigued. So this is my one little romance that slipped its way into this video, but I've had The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas on my shelf for quite some time, and I knew it was hypey a few years ago, and then I bought it and never read it. However, it is so long. It is 472 pages. So already I'm like, that is way too long for a rom-com to go in with. And also, I was reading chapter 1 only, and oh boy, was I like not vibing with these characters. I didn't like the writing style. It felt very unnatural, I would say, even though it's trying to be very kind of casual in its approach. Like these are natural sentence structures that people are saying. I didn't find them to be characters that were believable as actual people. It's just like they don't fit. I don't know how to, I don't have words for it. It's just like a vibe where I'm just like, they feel very fictional. And I know this is fiction, but like a good part of fiction is reading these characters that like come alive on the page and you feel like they're real. These characters are never going to come alive for me. I'm always going to feel like they're fake. So that's the vibe I had with it. I just was not clicking here. I mean, it's a fun premise. It's fake dating. It's travel. So like, I like those aspects of it. However, if you want a rom-com, modern day, and it's kind of enemies to lovers, fake dating kind of a situation, if you really like The Hating Game, you might get into this. So I would recommend it for those people. For me, I'm just like, I can't even. I was not into it. And again, I'm being cutthroat. If I'm not like hooked, it's going. Staying on my shelf is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. And ooh, this is delicious. I love it. I love a good auntie in a book. I love the character tropes. They're so fun. This one in particular is very zany rom-com antics here. I mean, she accidentally kills her date, and then her aunties are like, we'll hide the body for you. I was like, yes, okay, tell me no more. You have to hide a body, like immediately, and your family's all like, let's go, let's do it, fuck this guy. And I was like, okay, and tell me no more, take my money. I don't know what this says about me as a human, but like someone you can call up and say, hey, I gotta hide a body, and they're like, I'll be there in 10. Love that. I love that character aspect. So yes, this is zany and silly and fun, and I think I'm really, really gonna enjoy it when I read the whole thing. Also staying on my shelf is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. And this one has been on my shelf for quite a long time. I did get it like in the clearance bin, I think at a Barnes & Noble. Then I was reading it and I was like, okay, Finlay Donovan, tell me more. So she is kind of a down on her luck single mom. She's also a writer and author of books and stuff like romantic suspense. She's not doing well. Her book she's writing right now is like not even started. And she's like, it's due tomorrow, fuck. But she's talking about it at a Panera of all locations. And someone thinks she's a hit woman out for hire. And there's a lot of bad people that someone is very happy to pay $50,000 to unalive. And Finlay's like, oh my God, am I even considering this? Like, I need the $50,000. Like, how bad is this guy? But you know what? I'm gonna research this guy. Let's see how bad he is. Maybe it's good. I'll kill him. So right now, Finlay Donovan is questioning committing murder. I don't know. Tell me no more. I was so into this. It's so fun. I don't know why I'm like so into like adorkable serial killers right now. What does that say about me as a human? But yes, this was like so fun as a premise. It's gonna be zany and funny and like over the top. I'm so into it. So fun. Definitely leaving my shelf is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I mean, cover-wise, cool. I love the macabre vibes it has. However, it is very boring to read. Like, it's about a girl who wants to be a surgeon. Mind you, like, Victorian era, so, like, women weren't allowed to do that. And she seems completely shocked about that. Like, what? I can't be a doctor? It's like, girl, do you live here? What made you think women were like allowed to do whatever they wanted at any time? Anyway, we're moving past that. It's just very unbelievable. And I'm fine with like historical accuracy being little fast and loose in my stories, but this one felt like dumb. Okay? Honestly, it was giving me Stalking Jack the Ripper vibes, and I hated that book. So I was like, ooh, no, I do not like the feel of this. But, like I was saying, it's macabre, which drew me to it in the first place. It's a girl who wants to be a surgeon and a body snatcher getting together. However, I did look up some reviews. I'm like, does this get better at any point? And a lot of them say like the romance is just kind of non-existent in here, which is weird because it says a love story on the cover. But yeah, I think if you want something kind of gothic, macabre story that plays it very fast and loose with historical accuracy, this might be the book for you. I don't know. But for me, yeah, it was giving me Stalking Jack the Ripper vibes, and I just, I'm not doing that to myself again. All right, so that's it. That was that one shelf, all the stuff I pulled off of it. I think I did a good job. I'm definitely getting rid of more than I'm keeping, which was the goal of all of this. And it made me fall in love with some books that have been sitting on my shelf for a while. So I think this was a success overall. Look at me cleaning out my shelves. But on that note, let me know in the comments down below. First of all, I asked a question earlier, which was, are magical competition stories just overdone? First of all. Secondly, let me know a book that was on your shelf for a long time and then recently you kind of re-fell in love with. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.